questions?
I have no
Hearing
changes.
none. Citizen comments. I have lots of citizens. Alex, you've got nothing to say?
Just one. Just give us a comment. No?
Consent agenda. We're moving right along here.
Yeah.
This may be a new short meeting. Fifth item on the agenda, Covenant Estates, first edition, resolution establishing the benefit district. Jared Kuckelman.
Good afternoon, Jared Kuckelman, Assistant City Manager. So today we're discussing a resolution to establish a benefit district for the Covenant Estates First Edition. So Covenant Land and Developing is the developer for the Covenant Estates First Edition. They've also been the developer behind some other recent housing developments in Hayes, specifically the Kings Gate. To serve the new development, the developer has petitioned for street, stormwater, water, and sanitary sewer improvements, and using a special benefit district to finance the costs. As part of this first phase of the Covenant Estates First Edition, 32 lots are being proposed to be developed. So here's a map showing the property where Covenant Estates is located. The image on the right here shows the specific portion of land where phase 1 will occur, which, as you can see, is that area on the southern third or so of the property. It is the developer's intention in subsequent years to move forward with development to the north. So back in May of this year, the rezoning, platting, and annexation were all approved. So here's an image showing the final plat for the Covenant Estates First Edition, which again is just that southernmost portion of the property. So for this first phase of development, the developer is only planning to develop 32 lots out of the total 54 that were included on the final plat. This image here shows the proposed benefit district boundaries, which also indicates which of those lots are part of the 32 that are going to be developed. And I'll also point out the area here on the western, on this western edge. This is the area of the stormwater management area. So that's kind of why the boundary line zigzag a little, because it's meant to kind of cover that existing drainage that is there. City staff had some initial discussions with the engineer and the developer about what the options will be for the stormwater. Nothing will be set in stone until engineering is complete, but no matter what, the hope would be to have some stormwater to cover kind of the entirety of phase 1 as part of this development phase. So just kind of a reminder on how a benefit district works and the process, since it's been a few years since a new one was established in Hayes. A developer or the residents of an area or neighborhood, in this case it's a developer, petitions the city to make certain public improvements to a proposed district. So the resolution we're discussing today creates the proposed district along with identifying the improvements that are being requested and the method of the assessment. So once the construction is complete and the final costs are known, an ordinance would then be considered and could be passed to set the final assessment amount, which then leads to the property owners and residents within that district paying the special assessments for a period up to 20 years. So the engineer for this project has estimated that the total construction costs are about $2.9 million. As we've discussed, this will be paid through the special benefit district process. And so the city's policy for benefit districts is to require the developer to put 30% down of the total cost, which then leaves the remaining 70% to be special assessed to the property owners within the benefit district. And so this is the plan for this development as well to use. So should you choose to move, these are your options here today. And then this will be the action requested.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-012, authorizing the creation of a special benefit district for infrastructure improvements in the estimated amount of $2.9 million for the development of 32 lots in the Covenant Estates First Edition.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Musil, seconded by Commissioner Cunningham. Discussion, questions?
I have a question for Toby. When we have a developer that once again wants to invest in our community like this, on like the housing prices, can we dictate like what they can, if it's zoned correctly, can we dictate what they sell their houses for?
No. And traditionally, the city never has. It's,
Right.
you dictate how the plat looks, how everything's laid out. You dictate the amount they put down as their percentage. That's by policy typically on the, in this case, it'd be 30% down, the rest of it special assessed.
Right.
You dictate that, but once that, it's all market-based value.
Market-based, right. Okay. I just, because you guys know every time we pass something like this, tomorrow we'll be criticized for it's not the right kind of housing, but, you know, in my opinion, they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't think they could sell it, so.
Probably not, should not get in the habit of entering into private business.
I would agree.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
On these, kinds of special benefit districts, this was primarily what we've been doing, like, since the 70s.
Historically, yes.
This is historically how the city developed for decades until the last two developments that use this model are Kingsgate and then all of the Golden Plains, Golden Belt development north of 41st and west of Hall Street, and then the tall grass improvements on the east side of town, 17th Street and tall grass area. The RHID model was used with the tall grass on the north side of 22nd Street, and considered with the Grove as well. But yeah, this is traditionally how things have gone about.
Jared, I have one question. Can you go back to the slide that showed the potential for future area? That future development, that's not all completely been annexed in, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We only annexed the southern portion at that time, correct?
Okay, thank you.
I think those lots are selling pretty quickly, too. People are anxious to have them.
We have seen preliminary plats for the stuff on the north side.
on the north.
Okay,
So we kind of know what it could look like.
okay,
They
thank
haven't-
you.
Those haven't gone through public hearing at the zoning board yet, have they?
I believe so.
Okay. Last thing I wanted to double check on, the special benefit district is assessed to the people on each individual property, correct?
It's only the people within those red lines
Okay.
at this stage.
Only within those red lines would be paying for the additional 70% of the
What's proposed
2.9.
in this current resolution, those specific improvements within the red area are paid for by the people who are going to be living in that red area,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Correct.
so the community at large is not essentially subsidizing this project.
Correct.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be about $3,000 a year for each homeowner of those 32 for 20
I
years.
think that's what the number I've heard. I don't have the exact numbers
I
necessarily.
know, I just did the
but,
math, so I-
Yeah.
If he's throwing numbers, you can bet he did the math. It's exciting to see Catherine investing in our community. Again, Kingsgate was her work, and it's nice to have that back. I did ask Toby a question, and maybe it was discussed last week, about any part of that project that has to be dedicated to park, like in other areas, and your explanation.
We will, Jared, if you go back again. So we're going, go one more forward. So Jared pointed out that the stormwater infrastructure is going through. We're going to, in lieu of a set-aside, percentage set-aside, we're going to allow the developer to use a green space, but then require the developer to put in a multi-use path that will connect to 41st Street. Then eventually, hopefully, connect down to the former DK Ranch development that I think Mr. Tillman bought, that could connect down to 27th Street. So that would be in lieu of a percentage land set aside.
I'm glad to see that's working that way. It's a great collaboration for people that are investing in our community, giving them an opportunity to work this way. So I think it's a great opportunity.
Would agree.
Anything else? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. 6 on the agenda, Covenant Estates First Edition Engineering Services Agreement. Mr. Rohr.
Good afternoon, Jesse Rohr, Director of Public Works. So now that you've approved the Special Benefit District, traditionally the next step would be to approve the Engineering Services Agreement, which then allows for the engineer to begin design services for the project. So again, we're all familiar with the property right now, and as Jared mentioned, all the annexation, zoning, plating, and now the benefit district has been established and all approved. Again, here's just the boundaries that we just talked about. Also, just kind of recapping everything that we just talked about here, but like I say, we've gone through several of the steps necessary, not only between staff, but the planning commission and the city commission as well. The public hearings that were required as part of this have all been completed. The project will consist of construction of streets, traditional water, wastewater, and the stormwater improvements that Jared mentioned on the west side of the property. And per the schedule, there's a construction rough timeline to start in the spring of 2026, actually getting shovel in the ground. So now to the meat of this item. So Sloan Engineering and Consulting of Hayes has prepared the contract for engineering services. It will include civil engineering design of all those infrastructure components I mentioned in the last slide. They'll also assist with contractor bid solicitation and then do a final bid review and final recommendation to staff to then bring back to you, the City Commission, for your consideration. The contract with Sloan Engineering Consulting is for a not to exceed amount of $221,000. And here I mentioned the spring construction, but here's kind of a full schedule. So considering we get approval today, initially we'd start with a kickoff meeting between staff and the developer and the engineer. They'll begin drafting the plans. We'll review those plans throughout the progress of those, get them out to bid in the first quarter of next year, and then again bring those bids back to the City Commission for approval, assuming we get acceptable bids. This is also funded out of capital projects, and then it gets rolled into the special benefit district as well. So again, those 32 lot owners end up paying for their 70% share of this design, just like they will for the construction itself. Your options today would be to either approve the agreement or provide staff other alternatives if there are any. And this would be the action requested.
I move to approve the engineering services agreement with Sloan Engineering and Consulting in the not-to-exceed amount of $221,000 for the infrastructure design of Phase 1 of Covenant Estates, First Edition.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Barrick. Discussion, questions? Got them all earlier? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. The next item on the agenda is the opioid fund grant request. Chief Scheibler.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Don Scheibler, Chief of Police for the Hayes Police Department. The city is in receipt of a grant request from High Plains Mental Health Center for distribution of opioid settlement funds. The opioid settlement funds are distributed by the state to cities and must be allocated for opioid substance use disorder abatement. National opioid settlement was brought forward against both opioid drug manufacturers and distributors. As a result of that lawsuit, communities are receiving fundings to address the challenges that they created. The opioid settlement fund was first budgeted in 2023. To date, one funding request has been rewarded. Again, High Plains Mental Health partnered, did an opioid summit at Fort Hays State University. It was well attended, and that's been the only one so far. Across the state, there's been some uncertainty among local agencies. The type of expenditures allowed underneath the settlement terms. Last August, the Kansas Attorney General's Office published a guide on how Kansas municipalities can strategically use these funds. And earlier this year, the state hosted the first ever conference on the subject of allocating opioid settlement funds. Since that conference, city staff has created a grant application process and hope to work through our public relations manager partner agencies on advertising and distributing these funds. High Plains requested $49,965 to purchase a variety of fixtures and equipment for the new Crisis Intervention Center. A committee consisting of myself, the assistant city manager, and the deputy city manager reviewed the applications and recommended the following request. We award $45,481, which indicate the largest capital expenditures. including 7 sober and detoxification chairs and 7 volume infusion pumps. This spring, High Plains Mental Health broke ground on a new crisis intervention center located at the Hadley Center. Excuse me, I got ahead of myself. The Crisis Intervention Center will include 22 patient rooms and 2 de-escalation rooms to serve adult clients experiencing mental health and substance abuse. The center is expected to serve at least 500 clients annually and will be the closest option for residents in 20 western Kansas counties. The center is meant to alleviate the wait list at Lawrence State Hospital. $56,893 of opioid settlement funds is included in this year's budget. The Attorney General's office estimates that Hayes will receive. The updated number we just got this week is $310,000 over the next 14 years. The option that the Commission has is approve the request, do not approve the grant request, or provide staff with other direction. There's the action requested.
I move to approve grant funding in the amount of $45,481 for High Plains Mental Health Center to purchase chairs for social detoxification treatment and infusion pumps for their new crisis intervention center to be paid from the city's opioid settlement fund.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Cunningham, seconded by Commissioner Reuter. Discussion and questions, please.
I just think it's a good use for the money. I think it's great what High Plains Mental Health is doing for our community.
Chief, on the funding itself that we get, does it come straight from the state, or how does that get to us?
It is funneled through the state.
Funneled through the
Yes.
state, okay. And then they kind of, there's no real schedule when they disperse it, they just kind of do it,
Yes.
right?
I think we've received funds from 11 different companies, so it just varies as the settlements come through.
It comes in chunks too, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. And I mean, I received notification that a new company has settled, and so I have to go on and fill out some paperwork and authorize it. And at that point, we turn it over to Don and Kim. But then we periodically receive funds throughout the year. And Don's right. We just received an update this year on what we anticipate receiving, and I think they finally got everything lined out with all of the pharmaceutical companies that have settled. So we shouldn't have any surprises moving forward as to the money coming forward.
Okay.
One thing I forgot to add is that this is what these funds are intended. This is not
Right.
taxpayers' dollars. This is a result of the legal settlement, and this is exactly what these funds are intended for. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is they're very restrictive on how these funds can be used.
It's been very confusing. It's been a process, and I know some communities have purchased things, and then the city had to buy it, pay back. So we were a little cautious going into this until we figured some things out, and I'm very comfortable where we're at right now.
I have one last question, which I feel like Mr. Poe might have to answer. I apologize. It's estimated that the catchment area is 28 counties. Is that restrictive to only those 28 counties, or can others from other counties, if they reside, they can use this center as well?
I appreciate the question. Craig Poe, High Plains Mental Health Center. It isn't restrictive. Part of the model that we've switched to recently is a certified community behavioral health center. And what that provides is us to provide services to anyone who shows up. There isn't a restriction on what county of service they're in or anything. If they come to our door, we can serve them. But obviously the proximity to care is what we're really pressing with Hayes being that regional model and understanding people come here for a lot of things. The fact that we don't have anywhere for them to go right now, this would allow that opportunity. So 28 is our guess,
Sure.
but it could be coming from anywhere.
Thank you. And I know you mentioned it last week. How many employment positions did you estimate that the crisis center will add?
The center itself is going to add about 50 individual positions. 90% of them are over $19 an hour.
Wow.
And the economic impact will be roughly 86 positions, just looking at behavioral health and what that brings to a community
Wow.
with all the other positions.
That's amazing. Thank you.
And last week you gave us some information which I appreciate too. You're looking still, hopefully by the end of the year, having it open?
Yes, our original intent was to try to open by November 1st, and I would love it if we still can. But construction and even some supply chain things are getting us some delays. But the hope is we would still be able to open by the end of the year, and this funding would go a long ways to have the specialty chairs that provide that medical sobering or medical detox, so that they can have the equipment they need to provide that help that we're trying to do.
Yeah, we appreciate your input into the community and everything that you guys are doing to allow this to happen, which alleviates some of the issues that we have, rather than these people having to spend a night in a jail cell. They actually get to go get, treatment that they need, or just general treatment. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
How, sorry,
Go ahead.
how confident are you filling all those positions?
Part of it is the wage. If you look around at any other employment, we're paying quite a premium to be at $19 and up. And some of the higher level professional positions are much higher than that. And we know that that's what it's going to take to have people come in. But honestly, if you ask somebody to work in mental health crisis and sobering, it's not an easy job.
Yeah, no.
So we're fortunate that we have the funding to be able to provide that salary to them. And so I'm confident we'll find the positions.
Good.
But adding that many positions in town means we're attracting people to town some way, shape, or form. Whether we're pulling people because we've pulled from other jobs, there's an employment increase because of what we're going to open.
We're building more houses for them, so.
I think it's so important to understand the position we are taking in Northwest Kansas. Hayes is becoming the spot for our neighbors in Northwest Kansas to be able to receive services. It started with Camber originally, and that was just a wonderful thing to be able to put out here. I never remember will remember having a conversation with Senator Billinger, how important that was that be done, and it's everything that I see is it's totally successful. And then to have something like this, we really appreciate all the efforts of High Plains Mental Health.
We're glad to do it.
Any other questions for Mr. Poe? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Commissioner Musil, you must have something to say.
I did. Last week I had nothing, so.
You had nothing?
I had nothing.
And I missed it?
I know, you were shocked, weren't you?
Oh.
He saved it up for this week since you've
I
been back.
figured, so he knew I'd be back.
Yeah. No, I just, as everybody knows, school's starting next week. We have a lot of fun stuff going on in Hayes with a new high school. I don't know if any of you guys listen to, drawing the blank now, the radio announcer. Dustin Armbruster, sorry, interviewed the principal, just talking about Hayes High, and it was Dustin saying it, not the principal, about giving the teachers grace and everybody, because it's a lot of new stuff, and there's going to be stuff that people don't like. There's going to be things that people love, and no matter what, there's going to be a lot of people complain. That's just how we are as humans. But at the end of the day, it's for the kids, in my opinion. So hopefully we'll give them grace, and we got grade school kids going from one school to different schools. Going to be a lot of changes, so slow down, put your phone down, and pay attention, and hope the kids have a great year. And college is back in session. It's fun to see all the kids back in town, or many of them.
Moving in.
Yeah, moving in. It's great.
Yesterday was moving day.
Yeah, so give everybody grace.
Commissioner Barrick?
All right, cool. So, well, one thing I wanted to
Do we need to settle in?
give a little kudos to the county. I went out and I checked, anybody, as a city commissioner, one of probably the biggest complaints I've gotten over 4 years is how bad 48th Street is. And I'm like, it's not a city road, it's a county road. That's been completed, and it will become a city road in a couple years, but they did a really nice job. Smooth sailing. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you to the county. And also 41st Street going out and then down to Commerce Parkway. I used to live where I took that road a lot, and the amount of dust in my car and the number of flat tires I got on that gravel road. So having that now being resurfaced is going to be just a huge benefit also for people that are trying to just get out to the Home Depot to downtown. It's another nice pathway, so I wanted to give some nice credit to the county for working on that. I also want to spend a little bit of time, sorry, I'll take a little
You
time
can
here.
have all the time you want, Commissioner.
Oh, good.
You got 5 minutes.
I got.
Oh, I need to turn this over. Give me a second.
I went to last Friday and Saturday to a Wildland Resilience Summit, where the discussion, we had State Forest Service, our fire department, State Fire Services, National Fallen Firefighters Foundation was there, and talked about what I learned, WUI, the Wildland Urban Interface, and talking about fires and the hazards they cause and what we can do about it. One of the big things is in Kansas, wildfires are the number 4 in insurance losses and payouts in the state. And when you have major losses with fires, as you can see, that's basically LA fires, right? And now you can build a home and it won't be insured, which means you can't build a home. And so fire is a big issue. We had the Paradise Fire, 4-county fire, that went across, and we were lucky it was north of Hayes and ended up north of Russell. But the 100-mile-an-hour winds, that fire on the ground was moving 25 miles an hour, and a lot faster than that at the grass top surfaces. And found out that if that fire had started in Yosemento, it would have been through Hayes, burned Hayes, and gotten to the east side of Hayes in 7 minutes. So we have this, an issue, and we still have water issues. We have a big fire that's going through Hayes, we could run out of water pretty quick. So there's a lot of, it's a big issue. We're in a place where there's a lot of wildfires. We're at the wildland urban interface, and there's lots of things that we can do. So I'm going to push a little bit for the city to work on some ideas for mitigation, changing culture shifts for Western Kansas to be able to do some preventive fire burning, mitigation fires. We might need to think about, the types of trees that we have in town, whether we want to let red cedars be in town, or certain sorts of things that we can decide with tree ordinances and things that we can do. How close people have trees and shrubs to their houses. There's a whole lot of things. We're starting to build high-density housing. And then we're building it out at the edge of town. What is that going to mean for how we protect from the grasslands? We were just talking about the tonight, right south of the fire station. That's all going to get built up at some point, but that's an interface where fires start. If we don't have the fuel down, it could be a big issue. So I think there's a lot of things we can do to become a fire-wise city, a fire-adapted city, and we might want to add this to what the city does for education programs in the schools and with the residents for what we can do. We had a great chance to look. They have a sandbox where they can show the different fires around the state over a topography and see where they started and how they move, depending on the wind and the topography, which is fascinating. And they did an interesting one where they started a fire just west of 41st Street down in the gully and said, if the people at the ridge, if they all took some mitigation steps, that whole neighborhood would be saved. But if one person didn't, it would blow through and burn the whole neighborhood. So it's a serious issue, and I think it's one that we actually need to start considering as far as sort of our education programs and things that we can do around the edges of town and in town, so that we can be safe and make sure that we don't have big insurance costs. So I will be pushing for some more things that we can do as a city for follow-ups on that.
It sounds like a great subject for a retreat. Give the staff some time to put together some information and work with the fire. I think it could be a good discussion for a retreat, so we'll put it out there. Reese, thank you for bringing it up.
Give people some things, so it's pretty cool.
I was really sorry to miss it. We were getting back from vacation. I actually Chief said, go ahead and sign up, and I understand my card was the only one left laying out there because I wasn't back yet, but I'm glad someone went.
But Chief Higgins, yes, did a really great job, hosting it. It was a national thing, and they're going to try to do something like that every year around the country, and we're hoping to get them back again soon.
Thank you. Commissioner Cunningham.
Well, that's a hard show to follow.
I was.
I'm like, that was really good information. Made me think a lot. So I don't have much this week. Next week school starts. I know Commissioner Musil already stated it, but yeah, be patient. Watch out for the littles as they're all walking, riding scooters, bikes, all kinds of things to get to school. So yeah, be safe and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Commissioner Reuter.
Yeah, good luck to all the kids going back to school from elementary all the way up through college. It'll be a good school year. It'll be a good school year for everybody. Saturday night's Tiger auction, so there's going to be a lot of people out. First time it's going to be in the Coliseum, now that it has air conditioning. And Chief can correct me if I'm wrong, August 16th through Labor Day starts the state of Kansas's kind of drive for, the Drink You Drive You Lose campaign. So make sure you are being safe, drinking responsibly, finding a ride.
Through all the homecoming activities
Absolutely.
that'll be going
There's
on.
lots of homecoming activities coming up, so there's going to be a lot of people around. Once the weather starts cooling down and football season hits, there's going to be a lot of people. So be safe, be smart.
Thank you. I'm glad Commissioner Cunningham brought up the scooters. I'm just not going to let this die. I am so afraid for what's happening in this community with kids on scooters. It absolutely scares me to death. And it's a parental thing. The parents have to take accountability for what these kids are doing. Last night, 2 were flying down our street like there was no tomorrow. One of them's going to get hit, and I hope it's not a death that causes us to open our eyes. But please, parents, make sure you know how your kids are operating those scooters and that they're operating the way they're supposed to. I saw one that absolutely blew my mind. The little girl was riding the scooter, and she had her little sister sitting on the scooter in front of her. And I'm this close to stopping and doing it myself, but I'm not going to get in that situation.
want that.
No. I also wanted to thank the county for the work they're doing with the roads. I'm so excited about Commerce Parkway. I'm the same way with dirty. My husband will not drive on a chalk road, and so we've had to go round and round. So I intend to get ice cream and take him for a drive on Commerce Parkway and down 41st Street. So, and 48th is amazing. Just nice to have it again. So we appreciate all that.
Can I say one more thing?
You may do whatever. Here, let me turn this over.
No. Just talking about the roads, because I know we've probably all been asked about it. The pop-up concrete in the Peanut, staff is aware of it. They have a plan for it since it's not an immediate driving lane, and with the heat that's going on, don't want to cause extra issues while we have other ones that are being addressed. It is on the list. It will be corrected.
Are you referring to more than the bricks? Is
No.
it actually, it's just in the bricks?
It's just that one
Yeah.
concrete, because it's a stamped concrete panel
Yep.
that popped up, but they are aware of it.
Good point.
It is on the list of things to get done. They have their means more than I ever do, so thanks, Jesse.
I walked in and brought that up to Toby as I walked in today, and it's always nice when they immediately have an answer and tell me what's going
I
on
know.
with it. I think, I don't have anything else. I have someone that just walked in. Hey. Did you want to address the commission, or were you just here to see? Sorry to tell you, we're just getting ready to adjourn, so please come to another one. We start at 4 o'clock. I apologize. But you can actually see it on, Becky has it, oh, yeah,
Nex-Tech.
the next step.
YouTube.
And on YouTube, so you'll be able to find it. But anytime you'd like to come back, we'd love to have you.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry it was just ending. Thank you. Nothing else, no executive session. We're adjourned.